So the storm of the century didn't exactly happen. And instead of being pleased that it didn't debilitate the financial capital of the world, many, at least on the right, have decided to rip the people, the leaders, the governor of New Jersey, who, by the way, is a Republican, and the mayor of New York for over-preparing. They're not weathermen. The weather guys said it was going to be bad, so they seem to have reasonably prepared for a storm that turned out to be just a bad winter storm and nothing more. Rush Limbaugh has taken that little bit of information and the fact that we all know since the dawn of time, since as long as I've been alive, since as long as Cenk has been alive, weather forecasters sometimes get it wrong because it's not called a backcast, it's a forecast. You don't know what it's going to be ahead of time. Rush Limbaugh sees conspiracy in that.
So I'm paying attention to this, and I see record of all time blizzard is being forecast. And then I see this idiot mayor on TV telling everybody this could be, might be, likely will be the absolute worst blizzard in the history of blizzards in New York. I was just trying to think last night, trying to recall a couple instances where they forecast something that's going to be really, really bad, and it hasn't even come close to being, not even close to bad, much less really, really bad. And not just in New York, but elsewhere around the country. It's been a horrible, horrible year for forecasts.
So, horrible year for forecasting, which, by the way, is, of course, just going to be a thing he says and then doesn't refer to. We have no idea whether it's been a bad year for forecasting or not. I spent a lot of time in local television, 8 years of my life in local TV. Forecasting has gotten fantastic. I mean, almost invariably. You look at what they say the weather's going to be. It is. They couldn't get a storm. I was listening to a meteorologist today, which oddly enough I don't think Rush Limbaugh did, that when a storm gets closer, the forecasting cone usually gets narrow and narrow. You see clearly. This one did the opposite. It kept getting wider and wider to predict where it went as it got closer, which was a peculiarity of the storm, and certainly I think the southwest part of the storm. That happens. Yeah. It happened here.
When we were growing up, we didn't have the Doppler 4000.
Right.
Or the Doppler,
whatever.
8 million, whatever they're on, right, at this point. And so, of course, it's gotten a little bit better, but he's old school and he can't escape his own context. He's like, they keep saying that the snowstorms are going to hit the East Coast, but I'm sitting here in West Palm Beach and there hasn't been a single snowstorm.
So he talked about the idiot mayor of New York, the idiot mayor of New York definitely has some answering to do. I mean, listen to this. This is number 6.
Get off the roads, get off the streets, get off the sidewalks as this emergency deepens. This will most likely be one of the largest blizzards in the history of New York City. I'm asking everyone to understand that and to prepare accordingly.
It's outrageous.
How dare he?
How dare he? Yeah.
Okay. So a couple of things here. First of all, this reminds me of when they warned us about hurricanes when we lived in Miami. And I remember the weatherman saying, I need you to stop your party attitude and get off the streets. Okay, literally. It was one of my favorite quotes. And he was right. I did have a party attitude. I was drinking and I had just been in the streets. So now you say that because a hurricane or a blizzard might do a lot of damage and might cost you your life if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, as it turned out, in that particular case in Miami, we didn't have a terrible hurricane. In this case, they didn't have a terrible blizzard. In 2005 in New Orleans, it turns out they did have a terrible hurricane.
Well, it's interesting because Rush Limbaugh gets into that. So I was going to do 3A next, but let's go to 4 next because Cenk brings up Hurricane Katrina, and Rush Limbaugh skips some of the things that happened in between and goes right to Katrina to prove his crazy conspiratorial point.
After Hurricane Katrina, look at the very next hurricane season. Global warming was responsible for Katrina, and that meant Katrina was just the first of many that were going to follow. And they were all going to be bad, each one worse than the one before it. It's just part of global warming. There hasn't been a major hurricane landfall in this country in 3,000 freaking days. But part and parcel of the left taking over is, okay, you got to forecast maybe it's going to rain.
Hasn't been one in 3,000 freaking days. He's talking about Category 4 or 5 hurricanes. Sandy hit. It caused a $68 billion worth of damage.
Yeah, sorry,
Billion.
Ben. That was Category 3. So the $68 billion doesn't count.
Doesn't count. Doesn't count. You don't even get to recoup anything on it.
Right. And so the same Rush Limbaugh, of course, characterized Governor Christie of New Jersey when Superstorm Sandy hit as a hero.
Right.
So because he was properly prepared. Now, during this same exact blizzard that we're talking about here with the idiot mayor of New York, the equally idiot governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, also told people to get off the streets, said almost verbatim the same exact thing as de Blasio did without as much of a fun sign language person on the scene.
The most important issue of the day today is the health and safety of the people of New Jersey, said Chris Christie. How dare he? Let's play number 8 next. This is, in fact, exactly what Chris Christie had to say.
This is going to be a significant storm with snowfall today and into tomorrow that will create really hazardous conditions, including dangerous conditions on our roadways. So I have declared a state of emergency in New Jersey.
Idiot.
Idiot. I mean, de Blasio and Christie said exactly the same thing.
Right. So now look, here's why they have to over-prepare, if anything. Okay, one, because it's the cautious thing to do, right? So if it turns out it doesn't hit, maybe you're a tiny little bit embarrassed, although it has nothing to do with you, the meteorologists or the people who told you that you were going to get 2 feet of snow. But if it does hit and you're not adequately prepared, oh boy, then you're going to reap the whirlwind. I mean, if you thought Rush Limbaugh was tough on de Blasio, I'm curious that he didn't pick the Republican governor of New Jersey or even the Democratic governor of New York, who's very corporatist to criticize.
He may have mentioned Cuomo also.
Right. So, but mainly hitting de Blasio because now it's so fashionable to hate de Blasio in the right wing. So, my God, if he was underprepared.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, Rush Limbaugh. Oh, you see that? These socialists can't do anything right. They can't run the government. Look at what he did with the cops. He can't run the cops. He can't run the city. I mean,
Giuliani did everything right. I mean, he put the Office of the Terrorism Response in the World Trade Center. I mean, he nailed it. Giuliani, he nailed it. Yeah. Let's get the rest of Limbaugh just because the conspiracy is just so great. This is 3A, more Rush Limbaugh.
And the reason is, if I can cut to the quick and get your, the left has corrupted everything. And just like the left has corrupted the professoriate, the faculty at major institutions of higher learning, the left has populated all these bureaucracies. The Department of Commerce runs the National Weather Service. And do not believe that they're not politicized.
The professoriate.
That was already awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get this conspiracy right.
Yeah.
Because it's not just Rush Limbaugh. So now there's weather truthers out there, and this is apparently what they. So the meteorologists fake the weather that's gonna come. Well, then wouldn't they be embarrassed because it's fake? They made it up. I mean, it's their facts as a way of imposing itself. So what's the plan? They say, okay, a horrible storm's going to come, presumably because of climate change.
Right.
But if it doesn't come, isn't that worse for the people who are trying to push climate change?
They just get the fear into us, and we get scared that it might come. They have to keep reminding us of the dangers because the left is always playing the politics of fear.
Yeah. That's the problem with the left. That's the politics of fear.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They corrupt the government. And all the way down to the Dopplers. They're down in the Dopplers fixing what's happening with the weather so that they can trick us into believing that climate change exists based on facts.
Right. I mean, you're exactly. You proved his conspiracy by pointing out that it doesn't. When the storm doesn't come, the conspiracy is rendered useless. But Rush just went over a litany of things. He ripped Bill de Blasio. He blamed it on the leftist conspiracy, the same one that's taken over the professoriate. By the way, an argument that you were waiting for them to make for a long time when the professors, the people sort of most educated about a subject, keep being more progressive than they are. Mm-hmm. Sometimes more progressive than anybody, but certainly more progressive than Limbaugh and Hannity and Fox and all those guys. So they have to say, don't listen to them. They've been corrupted by the left. Now, when the meteorologists and when the climate change scientists say, no, climate change is real, we have to do something out, they say, no, they've been corrupted by the left, don't listen to them. Rush Limbaugh's core point since the mid-'80s has been the same. Don't listen to experts, don't read, and don't think. And I'll tell you when to be afraid, and I'll tell you who's lying to you. It's really terribly dangerous. He's very easy to make fun of, but he is a dangerous demagogue. And then he went off and talked about the nanny state too. So he made, like, he left the conspiracy point and then just turned it into the left wants to tell us what to do and control us and tell us when we can walk safely on the streets, tell us when we should take the snow out of our, shovel the snow out of our driveway, tell us what schools to go to. I mean, he didn't really have a point. He made all his crazy points, some of them actually dangerous.